Okay. Here we go. Just got our closes here. It's Sunday, 7 o'clock. Got the 2-week, the 3-week, and the weekly closes for crypto. And we'll start with Bitcoin. And this is the 3-week close that Bitcoin got this week. Pretty decent size red candle. We did get a little bit of a retrace this week, but still pretty bearish looking. We have the unicorn 3-week candle that I talked about in previous videos, that with the moving averages rolling down and just a very bearish candle, we keep moving down over the last 3 weeks, and now this is still a pretty bearish looking candle. I don't expect us to ever come back up and go higher off of this type of candle, at least in the next 3 weeks. I think we could either chop around here or continue down lower. We'll kind of see what happens, but you know, for now, I mean, this is the top of the candle was 90,000. I don't expect us to come up and break the high of this 3-week candle over the next 3 weeks. I think we're gonna, like I said, either chop around here, wait for the moving averages to catch up, and then go lower, or just head lower over the next 3 weeks. And here was the little mini cup and the handle right here, and here's kind of our breakout from it. There's a trend line that comes across here. I have the trend lines turned off right now, but I just wanted you to visually see kind of where we are, but still looking pretty bearish on the 3-week. And then if we go to the 2-week that we just got, we kind of got this like red hammer sort of candle. And I don't know, maybe we will get up off of this initially, maybe come back up around 80,000 on Bitcoin over the next 2 weeks, and then sell back down. I think that would actually look really good if we did come up, get towards the 8 EMA, maybe the 10, but probably the 8, right around 80,000 over the next 2 weeks, and then sell back down and get like a red inside candle 2 weeks from now. And that would be a very bearish setup to go lower off of. And that would be kind of a unicorn setup for a 2-week candle. But still nothing very, bullish looking on Bitcoin. Moving averages rolling down. Another red 2-week candle. If it would have closed up a little bit higher and maybe still was red, we could maybe a little bit up that we could get off. But closing midway through this candle, very red, big body. I mean, it's not there yet. I think we're still going to head lower. My prediction of 50 to 55K, that's still my prediction. I think it's even possible we could go lower than that, but we'll see. And it could take some time. Maybe we chop around in here with the 3-week candle, and then we go lower. Nothing's real changed, and I won't make this video too long. There's really not much new to talk about. It's still pretty bearish out there. Here's the weekly candle we got. We got a small weekly candle, very small. Bitcoin really didn't move a whole lot this week. Alts were actually a lot stronger this week, and I'll show it. Here's your really bearish weekly candle you got a couple weeks ago, and then we wicked down, came back up, got this like red hammer the week before, and then this week we got a small weekly candle. So in my opinion, if this would have come up a little bit more and sold back down and got a red, it would have pulled the moving averages even tighter, and this could have been a unicorn short for this week. And maybe we do drop off this candle. I mean, I don't know. Usually when I see a candle this small, I don't always necessarily think we're going to just drop right from it. I mean, we had small candles in here, and it just kind of chopped for a few weeks, before we continued lower. So I wonder if this is the type of candle that we just keep chopping off of for a few weeks and then head lower. I don't think this is necessarily a unicorn setup for this week to drop off of. I think the moving averages are a little too far away to just drop here, but I mean, anything's possible. We could just keep dropping, but I think we could chop around in here for maybe a few weeks and then drop. So yeah, red weekly, red 2-week, red 3-week. There is absolutely nothing bullish about Bitcoin right now. It's still on a red monthly. This is what the current monthly looks like. If we go to the monthly, I mean, still pretty big red candle. Moving averages are just crossing over on the monthly, so I still think we have a little bit more to the downside, you know. So it's not there yet. I mean, if somehow Bitcoin come up and get a green hammer, you know, maybe we can see the day the rest of the year, but I don't know. I don't think so. There's 12 days, 23 hours of this month, and things are still not looking good. So not much has changed with that. Bitcoin dominance has been getting a red, and you know, we may, you know, this may be where Bitcoin dominance falls off. Once this monthly close, we get a red like this. Let's see, did we get a higher? We did not, but this is the type of candle where we could just drop off of, and alts will show more strength than Bitcoin, and that's kind of the case with the yearly candle we got, is that alts will show a little more strength this year than Bitcoin. So I don't think as Bitcoin sells off that altcoins like XRP will sell harder than Bitcoin. I think they will keep their footing a little bit more and not sell down in as big a percentages as Bitcoin will. And that's true on the way back up. I think alts will get a bigger percentage move up as Bitcoin may get smaller percentages when it rises. So it's just something interesting. I think maybe this month could lead to, I mean, you can see the moving averages rolling over on Bitcoin dominance. So I think after this month, I think alts will be a lot stronger than Bitcoin will be. Let's see the week you got. Red week, inside red. This actually may be a good setup to short off of this next week. We'll see. Kind of interesting. Moving averages are very tight in here, and we've got some red candles and they're rolling over. So maybe something interesting happens with alts this week compared to Bitcoin. It'll be something to watch. So we'll see on that. That's the weekly. Let's check the 2 and 3 week real quick. Just kind of get through this real quickly. Oops. Yeah, very, very tight in here for a lot of weeks. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get some strength in alts. And I'll show that in a sec. 2 week is red hammer, big body. 8 is crossed the 10. So I don't know. I think we will roll over sooner or later on Bitcoin dominance. Red 3 week hammer. Moving averages don't look right though. So I don't know. Maybe it needs to come up and then sell down and get like a inside red reversal candle, hanging man or inverse red hammer style. Pull the 8 down below the 10 and then, you know, send it over after the next 3 week close. We'll see on that. So yeah, that's Bitcoin dominance. Let's look at total market cap for crypto. 3 week candle we just got, very bearish. It's pretty much the same thing as Bitcoin and all the alts and Ethereum and everything. Like moving averages are rolling over, still doesn't look good. So that's the 3 week close, big body candle, very bearish. Got our little red hanging man hammer style candle, moving averages rolling over on the 2 week for total. Still doesn't look good. Let's go to the weekly. Little inside red. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we get up and then come back down, chop around here. Like I said, kind of like these candles when you see a small little red candle. Maybe we chop, you know, sideways for a few weeks as the moving averages catch up. You know, like down here, maybe the moving averages need to catch up for a few weeks, and then maybe sometime in March we dump back down Um, so let's look at alts here. Alts did get a green weekly, so kind of interesting. This is total 3. This is altcoins. So, you know, we've been selling down hard for a while on alts, like many weeks. So, you know, back to October of last year, we've been just absolutely selling down pretty hard. Do have a green week, and as you can see back here, when you get a little inside green candle to red, sometimes you can get a, you know, a relief week where we get back up into the moving averages. Sometimes wick up, you know, not quite to the 20, but maybe we can get back up to the 8 and the 10, and then, you know, chop here for a couple weeks and then roll down. So down here, maybe we get up into the 8 and the 10, you know, for a couple weeks and then sell off. You know, we do have an inside green candle. It doesn't necessarily mean we will come up, you know, into the moving averages. Sometimes we can just sell down from this. I mean, it's a weak looking green candle. It's not a strong candle. It doesn't have a lower low. It doesn't have a big body. It didn't close up high. It's just kind of a green inside doji candle. And, you know, these are hard candles to read because they can go either way. They're kind of neutral candles. So the only thing I know is that we are below the moving averages. The moving averages aren't too much further up. So if we do come up, I don't think it's going to last. You know, if I see it starting to come up, I will probably start putting shorts on and put, you know, stops above, just above the 20 simple moving averages on whatever crypto I want to choose from. Or if we just start selling down, maybe I get in once we break the low of this last week's candle and just take a little profit as we go. But yeah, these are tough candles to read, so it'll be an interesting week. I think, like I was showing with Bitcoin dominance, I think alts will show a little bit of strength compared to Bitcoin having weakness this week especially. So it's just something to watch. For people that like XRP, we'll look at XRP. It got a green inverse hangman style candle. Still below the moving averages like everything else. You know, sometimes when you get a candle like this, or inverse green hangman style candle, sometimes you can get up off of them. But this is not like a bottoming candle where our low is lower than this candle. Like, it's kind of an inside inverse green, so I don't know if we're just going to get up from there. I doubt it. I think we could trade up into the moving averages and then sell down, like everything else. But it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens here. It's a green candle, but we could, you know, sell down from this candle. And sometimes, you know, like I said with the other ones, like here's kind of another example. Like here's a kind of a similar candle right here to this candle, and then the following week we got the green kind of inverse, you know, looking. This is a hangman. This is more of a hammer style candle, but kind of similar. And then kind of chopped for a couple weeks and then kind of sold down. Even came back up one more time and then sold down. So I mean, this could be chop around territory, kind of boring for the next few weeks. Like, you know, it's going to be a tough read here. I think it might have to chop a few weeks, let the moving averages catch up, and then hopefully we get like a red reversal candle with the moving averages tight that we can go short on. It's kind of a tough read right now. I think overall I'm still looking for that anywhere between 90 cent and $1 XRP this year. That's my target. Kind of like, I think we'll get there when Bitcoin, you know, gets to the low 50. Okay, I really do think they're going to come down here. And if I turn the trend lines on, I mean, it was open, you know, a couple weeks ago when we got that big drop that we can make down here. It was ready to buy, but we kind of bought back up before we got there. And sometimes the market makers or whoever, you know, whatever entities run the markets, you know, they like to play games like that. They like to drop it, and they know that everyone's got a trend line somewhere, and they'll buy it back up before it even gets there. then they'll chop it around for a few weeks and then come down and get the trend line. You know, they never make it easy, and this is a good trend line. This goes back to, you know, last year, and we have 3 touches, and, you know, boom, 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 and I think we're going to come down into this trend line at some point, and it's right around, you know, 90 cents, and that's where I'm looking to, you know, buy a little spot around that area, like I've talked about before. And I think it may take some time, so we may chop around in here for a few weeks before coming down, and it could be in March. Kind of looking at that March time frame to get down here. I don't know if it's going to happen. We still have, you know, another half of this month remaining, so it's possible we come down this month, but I definitely think by March, maybe late March, we do get down here. I think it would be a surprise to come up and hit my upper trend line right at $1.85 and then come down. I think they're going to want to come down first and then get back up the rest of the year, and maybe, you know, fill in the rest of this pennant and then bust out of it. You know, I think this is actually a pretty good looking pennant with multiple touches on the bottom and a lot of touches on top. So I think I had it where I changed the color just to see like kind of what it looks like on the outside. I don't know if I like blue. Let's do something that stands out. Let's do like a pink color. So let's change this one. Yeah, pink kind of stands out. So there's my upper, you know, major trend line, my bottom major trend line, and it's kind of interesting the area we're at right now. You know, we're at the, when we first had that breakout back in 24 and that 10-10 wick down, so we're kind of connecting those points, and that's kind of where we're at right now in this point in time. We're right at that trend line. You know, we haven't really closed below it. Like a couple weeks ago, we wicked down and then we came back up and closed above it. And then this last week, we closed above it. So we're kind of hovering right on this trend line that goes back to 2024. And, you know, I do think we are going to come down below it and then try and fight to get back up, you know, above it and then get up. But so we'll see. We'll kind of watch it, you know. But like I said, if this bottom trend line down here breaks, like we come down here and we start selling below it, it could be game over for XRP. Like, so this is a very important trend line that, you know, this could be bullish. You know, this is a falling wedge. You know, the pink trend lines, like, so once it completes in here, I'm gonna be watching it come June and July. If we're getting tight down in here and we're coiling, like, I could see a monster move out of here, you know, the second half of this year. And then we'll have the lower yearly wick and everything will look good. So, but, you know, it's only February and, you know, we've got like 2/3 of this falling wedge completed. And then let's see what happens with this last third the rest of the year. We'll be watching this, and if it sets up in here, we'll catch it. It'll be a monster move and we'll make a lot of money. So, and I'll be calling for it when I see it, but I got to see it first. There's nothing bullish yet. There's nothing good looking yet. So that's XRP. We'll just jump down to stocks and stuff. Make this quick. I was looking at Nvidia, and you know, let's just start from the yearly on it. I haven't drawn any trend lines yet, so, but I know this is a popular one. So let's take a look at Nvidia. And, you know, it's been really good the last few years. This goes back to, man, it's just taken off. Like, you know, this was back in January, 2019. It was like right around $5 back here. It's all the way at 182 right now, you know, 6 years later, and it's just, Nvidia's just taken off, you know. It did get a nice green continuation candle to go higher off of, and we've pulled back a pretty decent amount. I don't know if we need to keep coming back a little bit more, but it's actually got a pretty decent lower wick for the year, where if it wants to get up from here, it can. So, I mean, Nvidia looks good on the yearly. I think I looked at the 6 month. And the 6-month looked good. This was a nice candle. It's a little bit high above the moving averages. Not the most bullish looking previous 6-month candle, but we do have a lower wick against it, and we're coming back up. So it's green candle, so still good on the 6-month. 3-month, little green doji. You know, maybe we chop around here for a little while, and I say that because the 2-month I saw earlier was a red kind of hammer. I think we've pulled a decent amount against it. Let's see, what's our low here? 169.55, and we got down to 171. I think maybe we do need to come down a little bit more into the moving averages, set up, and then get up. So this could take a few months, 4 to 6 months, maybe set up here for its next leg higher. You know, it's off a red candle right now. This is not the type of like reversal style candle where we just drop back through. I think it's a red candle, but I think we're going to set up and chop around and then get up eventually on the video. I think it's really strong. Monthly, I had a green kind of almost inside candle. It was almost kind of bullish looking, but we've dropped off of it. Kind of interesting to watch the 8 here, see if we keep dropping. If that 8 crosses the 10, you know, we'll see how it closes in 11 days, but something kind of to watch here with NVIDIA. I mean, I still think it's strong overall, and it's going to continue to do very well. I know a lot of people like that stock, and Google is interesting. Google kind of looks reversal here. This is its monthly currently, so that's pretty bearish looking. If it closes like this in 11 days, let's check the 3-week you got. And I think, so I don't know when the 3-week closes, but very bearish looking for Google. 2-week I think was, yeah, very bearish. We've come into the moving averages, and it doesn't look good in the short term for Google. Moving averages are kind of rolling over here, so that's kind of a bearish setup. I think the stock market didn't look too good. It's been a few days that I've looked, but let's look at the NASDAQ. And oh boy, yep, look at this weekly. This is almost a unicorn. This is a unicorn short right here on the NASDAQ. The moving averages are crossing. You got a red kind of hanging man style candle the previous week, and then this last week you got this inside red, you know, big body candle, you know, up into the moving averages, pulling them down. Now they're crossing. We could see a bloodbath this week in the NASDAQ. It's very possible based on this weekly candle setup. You know, we got the inverse red hammer. Like I showed before, we kind of have this double top, this 1, this 2, and now, you know, hanging man, inside candle, moving averages crossing, we can dump here like this week. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Major trend line, you know, coming up through this area. It's not perfect because it's on a weekly. If you go into a daily, it's going to be tighter. That's the weekly we got. So yeah, very, very bearish looking for NASDAQ. So let's see if there's any areas of support we could come into. I mean, we have this one all the way down here. Oh man. I don't know what we could draw here, but areas down here, I mean, I definitely think, I don't know, but that's a pretty good sell-off, you know. If we come down into this area, I mean, what is that from up here? 20% on the NASDAQ. I mean, look, it's been in this rising wedge right here, and now we've got the setup, the drop. Like, this is, if I, you know, man, this is the setup right here. It's rolling over. I think you could see it this week in the NASDAQ. You could see a big sell-off. So definitely something to watch. You know, this week, next week, over the next 3 weeks. Let's look at the 2-week candle. Let's look at the 3 weeks. So 2-week, what do we got? Okay, we got a big red candle. Still above the 20. The 8 has crossed the 10. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's a big 2-week candle. So and sometimes it likes to save itself too, you know, but that weekly candle does not look good at all. So oops, let's go. Well, here's the monthly candle, and then we'll look at the 3-week, kind of doing this out of order, but oops, went to a 30-minute chart. Don't want that. Let's go back to monthly. I think it's got a red month going. I may need to close first. I don't know. They may want to close this red month first before they drop it anymore. Not necessarily have to, but we're into the moving averages on the 8 and the 10. We came down to the 10 perfectly. Still 11 days, 21 hours. Red monthly. Let's look at the 3-week. What's the 3-week look? What's the 3-week look like? Yep, red reversal. 8's crossed the 10. Very bearish looking 3-week here. So, and here's our 20 down at 23,158. So you can see it rolling over here. So 8 has crossed the 10. We did close below the 8, and we'll just see. I mean, this is a 3-week. Very, very bearish weekly and very bearish 3-week on the NASDAQ. So does not look good for that. What else did we have in here? I didn't want to make a long video. Make this short. Let's scroll back up to the top. Okay, let's see here. Silver. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. Ugly looking 3-week on silver. 2-week. I mean, we're still above the moving averages, so not losing hope on it yet. I still think silver has huge potential. The weekly, the 8 is starting to cross the 10. That's kind of a bearish inside candle, so I think we could come down to the 20 sometime this week, around 67, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm going to have to go here in a second. Anything else? I think gold's similar. Well, actually, gold got a good green candle here, and a good gold could come up while silver drops here. So, weekly candle, I won't spend too much time on that. I think that's pretty much SPX. Where is it? Here we go. SPX. Wow, that's a ugly looking red weekly candle. You know, similar highs to the previous candle. Exact same highs, kind of a little tweezer top setup. 8 starting to roll over the 10 here. So let's zoom out just a little bit. Ugly looking weekly candle. Let's look at the 2-week. So the 2-week, kind of ugly looking. 3-week. Yeah, so similar thing. The 1, the 2, and the 3 are kind of showing reversal signs here. So, and you can see the 8 starting to roll over the 10, starting to cross. Shows that the 8 is below the 10 right now, but we're still above it. So we'll see if it holds. But you know, kind of sketch looking. I'm not gonna lie. Even stocks are looking kind of sketch here. You know, here's our monthly candle we have. You know, tweezer top with the previous month. You know, we still got 11 days left. We're above the moving averages. I don't know. Man, this would be crazy if we came back down here. I mean, maybe not too crazy. I don't know what type of percentage move that would be, but if we came down, I mean, that's 20% right there over the next few weeks. Or I guess this would be months. Over the next few months, 20%. We could see it, you know. What's our MACD look like on the monthly? Well, there you go. Starting to roll over here, lose momentum. So can I zoom in on this? How do I zoom in? Oh, here we go. So, I mean, let's see. Is it kind of flat? Maybe down a little bit. So there you go. A little bit of a divergence here on the, for that 3 week. Not really a divergence with the 3 week, but what about 2 week? Maybe a little short-term divergence right through here. Yeah, I mean, doesn't look good. We're going to watch this week. I mean, stocks could take a hit this week, and we'll keep an eye on it. And crypto still doesn't look good. Nothing looks good yet. When things start looking good, I'll say it. I'll get excited about it, but nothing there right now. All right.